Hmm? Welcome at the Schleiz Dreieck, Mr. Boothby. At first part of our interview, would you be so kind and introduce you?
Okay, my name is Graham Boothby. I am the organiser of the IHRO. I come from England originally, but now I live in France. I have been involved in classic racing since the very first meeting in England in 1979.
And how did you come to the racing sport? What was the beginning?
For me, I started by riding in trials events with a 250 Montesa, and then at the same time I was acting as a marshal at road race events. After 5 years I decided that I wanted to ride myself and started racing on a 450 Ducati and a 750 Laverda in the classic racing. At the same time, I was also organising the English Classic Racing Motorcycle Club. So I organised all the race meetings and I used to ride with them as well.
What is the fascination for you in special and on the historical racing sport in general?
The fascination for me is I have always liked old motorcycles. I like racing motorcycles more than road bikes, and IHRO is all about racing classic motorcycles. It is not about converted old road bikes. It is proper Grand Prix race bikes, which is where my love is. I also like to watch the modern MotoGP. Anything which is a proper racing motorcycle, I just love it. That's where I come from.
Fine, and the founder of the IHRO was another person. How did it come that you became the chairman of the IHRO?
Yeah, the founder of IHRO was Alan Cathcart, who is a very famous racing journalist. He also started the Classic Racing Motorcycle Club in England, and at the first meeting I met him of the CRMC and we became friends. After about 6 years, Alan decided that there was the opportunity for an international racing organisation for classic bikes and started IHRO. And then 5 years after that, I took over from him as the organiser. Alan is a man who has ideas and gets things started and then passes them on to other people to do the work, and I was the one who did the work after.
Mm-hmm. And the IHRO, what is it? Can you give a description of what is the IHRO?
Yeah, IHRO is all about historic racing motorcycles from 1945 up to 1967 for two-stroke machines, so that we do not allow the Yamahas and the Suzukis into IHRO, and it goes up to 1972 for the four-stroke machines. This was the period before the Yamaha TD1C and TR2 and machines like that came in and just destroyed all the Sealeys and the Manxes and the Air Mackies. So we cater for the classic racing motorcycles rather than the more modern two-strokes.
And can you give a little view into more fact about the history of the IHRO?
IHRO had its first race in 1986 at the French Grand Prix. So next year IHRO is 20 years old, and initially we started as support races for Grand Prix meetings. France, Italy, England and the Dutch TT. Unfortunately now, with the cost of tracks and the cost for the organisers to run the Moto Grand Prix, it is not possible for IHRO to race at these meetings because it would cost too much money. We would have to buy track time, so it would cost us too much money. So we have now come to have a regular base of proper sportsman's classic racing, like Schleiz, like Chimay, where the spirit of the racing is what we want.
And how did the IHRO come onto the Schleizer Dreieck? How did it begin?
In 1997, one of our riders, Hans-Georg Stutz, had discussions with the Schleiz organisers, and we came here for the first time. At the time, we were the first classic race, as opposed to regularity, that had been run in Germany. And everybody who came here thought it was such a fabulous circuit, a wonderful atmosphere, that the next year more people came, the next year more people came, and now Schleiz is the most popular event on our calendar, and we regard it now as our home event. We have a social presentation this evening for annual trophies, and we always do that at Schleiz because we consider this to be our home.
And this big success, what was the consequence of this big success? You told a little bit about it. More and more spectators came, and so can you give some more facts?
That is actually quite difficult because you or the organisers know more how we have helped with the meetings. It is just the total friendliness that all our riders love. They love the circuit, and every year more and more people want to come here. The first year, the local newspaper, the Osthuringer Zeitung, had a huge article in it about the IHRO racing, and we thought that was fantastic. Anything that we can do to help with racing at Schleiz, we will do, because it is absolutely what classic racing should be.
Fine, and it is known that former world champions even drive in the IHRO series. Can you tell us who they are?
At the moment, the only current world champion, ex-world champion who rides with us is Phil Reed, but we have had Walter Villa, we have had Hugh Anderson, we have had John Surtees, but these people have now stopped competitive racing and only do parades and demonstrations, where Phil Reed is still riding with us and is still racing competitively. IHRO is about competitive racing. It isn't about demonstrations or regularities. But it is also about fun. That is the most important thing. The social side of IHRO is almost as important as the racing. We are a family who are recreating the old continental circus.
Thank you for the interview, and we all hope to see you next year for the 20th anniversary here at the Schleiz circuit.
Well, yes, thank you. We will be here. If the Schleiz circuit is here, IHRO will be here. There is no question. We love it. It is just, like I said before, where classic racing should be. It is the spiritual home for us of IHRO and classic racing. And we are delighted to be here, and thanks to all the organisers for having us.
Thank you. We are looking forward to it.